Hello, and welcome to Gamers Health, the live stream, the weekly Saturday night. Uh, we got nothing better to do on a Saturday night but talk to you with a couple. I am Rach Tenkar, and this is my lovely wife, Rach.
Hello.
So, as our regular viewers know, we do this on a weekly basis. We talk about different aspects that affect the health of people in general, but we talk about our gaming community in particular. And those have been following the regular stream, the regular channel for Tenkar's Tavern, would know that we had a last minute getaway earlier this week
Mm-hmm.
because you took time off from work to take some yoga training,
Yes.
which got canceled, and that gave us the opportunity to
Take a couple of days to go to the Poconos and, recharge, spend some time with family, and enjoy ourselves. I even got to enjoy a free workshop that was pre-recorded, so that was a nice thing.
very nice.
Yeah.
So one thing, listen, this is summertime, right? People are trying to get away.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talks about, oh, I got my vacation time. When do you usually want to have it? In the summer, right? If you don't have seniority in wherever you work, everybody's like going, I can't wait till I get seniority. I get my summer picks. You don't need a full week to get away. We actually went up Tuesday morning, came home Thursday evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I guess you would call that a 3-day, 2-night getaway, but and it was in the middle of the week, right? So we didn't have a lot of what you would expect from a weekend getaway, but it was great refresh, recharge, almost a reboot. I did 2 episodes for this channel, or RP. Well, one was RPG related. One was more social media related. That was certainly aimed at one's mental health, because again, even though this is a channel that's about gaming, there are other aspects to our lives, and Rach is someone who does not participate in social media, almost whatever. Right? I mean,
I have a Facebook account. I have friends, but I don't communicate with anybody through that means.
Yeah.
Sometimes even the happy birthday thing, like, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. It's just weird to me. So,
You don't like having random. Well, all right. So here's what I brought up, and for the most part,
and I need to learn.
Yeah, but here's my issue with social media. All right, there are. Have I made true, honest to God friends? I'm going to use quotation marks here. Right? It's not. I'm not giving two figures. It's not a. Was it a British curse?
It's this way.
All right. Well, and then
your air quotes.
Air quotes. Air quotes. Friends on Facebook do not necessarily mean friends in real life. They can become friends in real life. All right, they can become people that you communicate outside of the general communication. Maybe you do PMs or whatever. That's how I got to know Zach Laser. I got to know James Spahn. I got to know Laramie Wall and many others. Chris Dodgill. The list goes on and on. These are people that I learned because of my online presence and participating in social media. Bree and Indigo, welcome.
Hello.
But here's the thing, okay? I've got, I'm going to say, over 3,200 Facebook, air quote, friends. I am not friends with 3,200 people. That is an impossibility. I read some study years ago that I think that the most people are limited to like 100, bless you, 100 actual contacts that their brain can follow, and beyond that, it just becomes noise. So I hate to say it, but the vast majority of the people that I am friends with on social media, I guess you could say, are noise. It's nothing personal. My brain's not going to be able to follow it. And there's something strange about social media, because I've never in my I'm about to say real life, but I guess I've never in my face-to-face friendships ever had anybody, with the exception of one friend in elementary school, tell me, "Oh, if you want to be friends with me, you can't be friends with XYZ."
Oh God!
But it's constant on Facebook. It is like I don't know, this idea of control that comes out. And again, I don't want listeners or acquaintances or Facebook friends hearing this and going, "Oh, Tenkar doesn't like me." No, I probably don't know you. I think that Google Plus did a better job with how they handled this, because they called it circles, right? You circled somebody. Basically they were in your circles, and I think that was a better way of handling it, because it was like, yeah, they're in your circle. They have similar interests. Why are we communicating together? Well, you all enjoy RPGs, old school RPGs, or whatever. I think that is better than this generic friends label that has a lot of weight attached to it. A lot of, at least for some people. Some people are like, but I'm friends with John on Facebook. Why would he say it? Come on. So realistically, there's 3,200 people. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have not sent friend requests to 3,200 people. The vast majority have requested friends from me, or friendship from me, and I do a quick check and I go, "Oh, all right. Well, how many friends do you have in common?" Oh,
so it's just basically that they're requesting friendship because they want to be in the community.
They want to be in the community. They want to, probably in the case of many of us, they want to know we're
And
talking
some communities
about.
are large, some communities are small.
But here's the thing: like Facebook has the ability that you can just follow certain communities, right? But it also allows you to follow individuals. But it isn't following somebody; it's friendship, and you could be friends but not following, which is sneaky shit. That's where you're like, "Oh wow, I don't want to read Tenkar's shit anymore because I think he's batshit crazy." But I don't want him thinking that I'm not friends with him anymore. So I'm just going to unfollow him, and none of his stuff will pop up in my feed, but we'll still be friends. It is bizarre shit that works on so many wacky levels. I'd love to know the psychology behind this.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, right word. Right. All right. Yeah. I'm in New York. You'll have to forgive me. But it's just, it's weird the amount of importance some people put on social media. All right, we don't necessarily do that with other parts of our life. Social media is something that, and I know there are books on this and pro and con, but it is just amazing how, with the beginnings of MySpace, what Facebook took this to another next level, and Twitter and all this crap. We could probably do a whole episode if I bother doing research, Rach. We could probably do a whole episode on this. I didn't do any research, folks. Just being honest.
And like, I don't always understand Twitter. Like, I'm just gonna write, "Oh, well, I'm doing this," or "Oh, well, here's what I think of this thing that came out today."
Well, see, that's what you're supposed to do, Rach.
Does anybody really give a shit what I think?
Here's the secret with Twitter. The secret with Twitter is you've got to be offended by something. You got to be offended and be very opinionated. In which case, apparently, you will get lots of followers on Twitter. Listen, my social media is used almost exclusively to let people know what's going on with the blog, the YouTube, the podcast, new releases. I'm not there to talk about stuff beyond gaming, right? Because I mean, I don't think anybody is following me on social media because they want to know uh, my opinions on how the U.S. government is being run, or what's going on with the pandemic, or uh, I don't know, police issues. Nobody really cares. They want to know what I'm talking about for gaming, and I like to keep it that way. And I think it's generally, I don't know, wiser. And I said this elsewhere on another episode. If you're in this as a business, if you are in the hobby looking to make some scratch in the hobby, make some green, keep your personal shit. I mean, maybe cat pictures and dog and puppy pictures, but keep your personal shit off of social media because you're gonna offend people even if you don't plan to.
I mean, there's personal things that you talk about that are that we should talk about that are common to
Yes.
most people, and
When you have
ways that we relate.
Right, you have great things happen in your life. You have drama happen in your life. You've got death in the family. Listen, people want to come out. They want to support you, but
those are the normal human things
right,
that we would want to connect on.
Right, but if it's something that could get you punched in the face at the local pub, you probably don't want to be spouting opinions on it on social media. Is that a good way to put it?
I guess so.
Okay. I've never been punched in my local pub. The only pub I ever felt threatened at was the one up in Woodlawn. And I was only being... It's only because there was a bunch of Irish lads fucked off their ass, beating the shite out of each other with whatever they could get their hands on. And then they realized, oi, what the fuck is this? Oi, what county are you from? And I was just like, holy.
They were northern.
And by the way, I wouldn't know where. Rach and I, we were dating at the time. We weren't even married. And of course, Rach learned real quickly about the person that she was getting involved with. When my response was, without batting an eye, County Queens. And they stopped there and they went, oi!
Hey, listen, look at history.
No. Where the fuck is County Queens? I went, yeah, it goes between County Kings and County Nassau. And they went, oh, you're fucking funny. And I was like, oh, good, I'm not going to get my ass kicked. Because really,
these guys were bleeding. And...
yeah, I was just like, let's just finish our drinks and pay our tab and find a new watering hole because this won't end well. But I realized that there was nothing. If I had said, what county? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I'm entirely sure. What the fuck are you doing this place for? And I'd be like, oh, Jesus. What's my option going to be? Get my ass kicked?
Yeah, we went there to play darts and have a couple of drinks. And some other folks.
And avoid lumps, really, what came down to being. I still prefer avoiding lumps at this stage of my life. So I think that was a wise choice.
Yes.
But yes, the Poconos as a getaway, a last-minute getaway, was awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better way to finagle this because
it was just sort of life happening and
yes,
creating it for us. And some of the things that we did when we were up there were really great. Like our dog insists on taking walks.
Yes,
24/7.
Oh God,
she'll wake you up at the crack of dawn to take her out so that she gets plenty of walkies. She loves walkies up there. She likes going to look for deer and
deer
ducks and out.
Oh, but look, no. Tell me about yay tall and I don't know yay frick. Yay long, whatever. She's a miniature dachshund. She weighs about 10 pounds.
Maybe 10.
But she thinks that deer are simply big dogs, and if they're really big dogs, then she's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna bark at them. I'm just gonna hide behind Daddy because that's a really big dog."
Even though it's not barking back.
Yeah, even though it's not barking back, and it might be afraid of me, and I don't know why. That's a really big dog. But yeah, she was good.
So she holds us accountable for making sure that we walk.
Wednesday morning, she got up with the dawn, and she paced in the room for about 5 minutes because she heard her nails clicking on the floor, and then she gave up and went back to bed, which was good. I mean, but when we got up there on Tuesday, we gave her 2 walks. I think she got like 3 walks on Wednesday and 3 again on Thursday.
At least,
she got so much walk time left that when we actually left on Thursday, I think she slept most of the trip.
She did.
Yeah, she was just like, I can't believe all the walks I had, but the walks were good for me too. I'm not now, like we didn't really have a walk today. We did gardening today.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I cut the lawn, not like it's a lot of lawn to cut, but I cut the lawn here in Queens. Rach picked tomatoes. I know I gotta make our tomato salad. And then, after that, yeah, I made a
nice lunch.
A nice lunch, a healthy lunch.
Yeah.
We cheated
chicken and what was it called? Caesar chicken.
Yeah, it was a Caesar chicken with
French green beans.
French green beans. It actually was very, very tasty.
And very healthy.
Yes. I can't say that the dinner of Taco Bell was anywhere near as healthy. But sometimes you just tap out after making your breakfast from scratch. That was our usual omelets. And then making lunch, it was kind of like, I could make dinner too, but I'm kind of running low on steam. And look at you doing. Well, I guess it's running low on steam. But I haven't gotten my walking today, so probably after this, I'm going to go into Rachel's yoga room, put on my VR headset, and play some racquetball.
Nice.
Because get some cardio in, and get some stretching on this shoulder, because stenosis ain't fun, and the only way to combat the stenosis is to get a lot of movement into it. So we'll work on that. So, other than it's weird because again, you get away, and you honest to God reboot, and part of getting away in this case, and I learned this with North Texas, is what's the one thing I could have. Listen, if I left my laptop behind, I'd be upset. If I left my iPad behind, I'd be upset. If I left them both behind, I'd be traumatized. But I wouldn't have to turn around. But if I left my meds behind, that's a showstopper.
Oh yeah, we don't have to turn back.
Right. So I packed my meds.
You did great.
I packed my meds the night before, and I packed my morning meds into a shot glass the night before, so they were ready to go. Because that's the whole. I mean, I could forget to bring clean underwear. I'll just buy new clean underwear. But yeah, you're not going to get.
We don't have that much freedom with our prescribed medication if we don't have it with us.
So you have to plan that stuff ahead. And I am so anal about it that even if we packed the car, I had to open up my backpack and verify that I had my meds packed.
Yeah.
So, these are little things that mean a lot when your life, I guess to some extent, quite literally relies on regular taking of one's prescription medications. And I got a shit ton.
Yes.
It's just probably not a proper definition for it, but it works.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think, Rach. What else now on the agenda? You took your on-demand course that was on Wednesday night when I was doing.
Yes.
When I was doing Talking Crit with Bad Mike, and as an aside, I really do love the community that's grown up around this YouTube channel, and the people that I live stream with. Friday nights, I'm usually with either Glenn Hallstrom or Joe the Lawyer, but Joe is every second and fourth week. So it's one of those months that we were kind of had a five Fridays in July, and only so now it would have been Glenn back to back, but Glenn was moving, or is moving. So I was like, Glenn, you can't do it, man. I'm not doing it. He would have been. He would have found a way to do it. Just wouldn't have. He would not have been in a good spot for him. But Dad Mike was like, hey, I'm more than happy to just hang out and do another Talking Crit. So we did another Talking Crit.
Sweet.
And as I joke with Mike, and Rach knows the joke, I refer to Mike as my once a week work spouse. Because really, the live streams are the closest thing I have to work these days.
Yeah.
Glenn is a funny guy, Bree, and Glenn is a sweetheart. He really is, and he listens to all the streams and all the episodes, and he'll pick up on stuff, and he'll call me out of the blue. Goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm okay." He goes, "Oh no, I listened to the last show, and I was just wanting to make sure that you're in the right mind space." And that's a perceptive individual, I can't thank Glenn enough for being there like that, and all my friends, and I've known Glenn longer than about the same time as I've known Bad Mike. My Glenn I refer to as the great peacekeeper, because he's the one that when I got to know Vince Florio initially, Vince and I were literally button heads, and not necessarily a healthy way about things, because we weren't talking with each other. We were talking not even at each other, but just kind of in the direction of each other and not communicating with the issues that we had. And Glenn's the one that made us communicate. I didn't know Glenn well at the time, but Glenn did an amazing job with that, and I owe Glenn a lot. No shitting. Although I guess out of everybody, I think I've known Joe the longest.
Really, Joe?
Joe, because I followed Joe's blog early on, and then when we were doing the D&D Next.
That thing where you were going to the village. No.
Well, I did in the village, but we also had the group that was doing it on Saturday nights.
Oh, he was part of that when we were dating.
Well, he came in right after that. I got to know Joe from his blog, and we communicated, I guess, on Google Plus. May it rest in peace. And Joe was. I was like, yeah, Joe might fit the group. Yeah, and you know what? He fit the group like aces. He really, really did. And since we're doing a bit of a hex crawl or a sandbox, we're kind of freewheeling. It's a freestyle right today. When it comes to your gaming groups, the hardest thing to do, and not talking about at conventions, but whether it's a virtual tabletop or whether it's face-to-face gaming, the hardest thing to do is add a new player to that environment. And the reason for that is because the group generally has an established feel to it. There's an environment. There's a community.
Well, the dynamics change.
Like
any group.
Right. But once you have
whether it's a therapy group, whether it's a gaming group,
right,
whatever, the yoga group, whatever the group is, when another person comes in, the dynamics can change in a big way.
Right. And you want I was usually the one that was potentially bringing people into the group, because I was even on Google Plus. I had people in my circles. I think I was, by the time Google Plus went bye, there were well over 9,000 people had me in their circles. So I was communicating with a lot of gamers, and when people would want to get added to the group where I thought they might be a good fit, I would tell them, listen, I'm going to see if I can add you to the group, and figure it's going to be a trial basis, 2 to 3 sessions, and if it works well, great, and if somebody feels it doesn't, listen, no hard feelings, but the group dynamics have to take precedence over the individual need. And I've always felt that when I'm saying something like that, it means you're the one coming into the group. You should realize that you may or may not fit with the group. The group doesn't have to fit with you. All right, that's something that I think that people don't always realize in these situations. When you're coming into a group situation, yes, the dynamics in the group will likely change to adjust to you, so long as you're willing to come in and not demand that the group change.
Right, because
to
it's
fit
not.
you.
It's never about one person and everybody
Right.
having to change to please one member.
Right. What, cramp on your foot? Stop playing footsies. You wouldn't have that problem.
No, there's something hard there that's in my foot.
Oh, well, that would be a problem. What
It's that kind of splintery thing.
did you get the splintery thing out, or am I gonna have to pause this live stream?
No, I got it out.
All right. Cool.
No, you don't have to perform surgery with the tweezers and have me kicking and.
Because she's ticklish. All right, so it's kind of like
ticklish, fearful.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the funny thing is, she's the one that will get bruised from that, not me. Yeah, I might get kicked and go ouch, but she's the one that people go, "Do you abuse your wife?" I'm like, no, I would never do that. But Rach happens to. I look at her the wrong way, and Rach can bruise. Slight exaggeration, not much of an exaggeration. Maybe.
Yeah.
So now that we're home, and it's something that we haven't been doing for a while, but I think we kind of started this maybe last week, like a movie night at home. Okay, we're not. Listen, we know we're in a midst of
I
COVID.
think we were doing it like every couple of weeks or something.
Right. We're gonna
finding some things that we just were riot, and then, this is really nice, and then we started to find certain movies.
Yeah. So we actually now we found a movie that we thought was going to be like, all right, good enough to watch. It has Ned Stark, Boromir. What's his name?
I have no idea.
Bean, whatever the fuck his name is. The actor that played those roles, when he gets killed in every fucking.
He was drawn and quartered.
Yeah, he was drawn and quartered in the Black Death. And here's the thing about the Black Death. I watched this, and holy crap, there is so much to that can be stolen for gaming purposes. Just the whole idea of that town. Now we don't know. By the way, I actually here, spoiler alert: you don't know if the necromancer really has magical powers. Maybe yes, and maybe no. And I think just that little twist is awesome. Gerard 253, awesome. Yes, group dynamics is important, and yes, thank you for saying that, making excellent points. But again, to find balance when you add somebody to a social group, which is really what your gaming group is. It's a social group because it works well. If people are together, and they're going to come back time after time. I saw this not just with my Saturday night groups. We were playing regularly with our VTT. We're twice a month Thursday night groups, and I was playing out in Long Island at the game store, or my old groups from high school and college. You build a connection where people aren't just there to game. You're finding out about how somebody's work week was. You're finding out about what's going on in life. You're getting invited to somebody's wedding. Okay? This stuff happens because of game groups, right? I don't think that, I don't ever expect to have somebody who I've befriended on Facebook and I only know via Facebook, and I don't know beyond having them having friended me in conversations that are not direct messages, not private messages, but just on the Facebook page, right? I don't expect anybody there to invite me to a wedding or to a child's christening or to some event like that. But your gaming groups, I've been invited to weddings. Some of these weddings have been out of state. I can't get to them. But you're invited to them because you are not just, again,
Right, it graduates to a certain level.
You have these
friendship.
Right. There's a connection. I used to try to explain this to my son when he was in high school. I said, Chris, you have to realize that there's probably 3 levels of friendship that you have to worry concern yourself with. Yes, Sean Bean.
Oh,
I was thinking Mr. Bean, and then I was like, that.
I had no idea.
That just wouldn't work now, would it? No. You have acquaintances, you have friends, small f, and then you have friends with the big F. Now, friends with the big F can almost become like family. But I also believe that family is defined by a big F and a small f. You can have family that is defined by blood, that is a small f, that you only want to see never, but they're still your family. And then you have...
you only want to see never.
Yes. Then you have family that you want to see and want to hang out with and want to speak with and know what's going on and support them. And maybe you don't have a blood connection. You don't have a marital bond connection at that extent. You know, I mean, I consider James Bond to be a brother. I really do. And I would do anything for that man. That bond to me is he's family with a capital F. But he doesn't fit under the definition of blood family or family by marriage. So there's these different ways that you're going to define this stuff. But I've always felt that acquaintances are the people that hopefully you know by first name, but at the very least you recognize them, right? Friends are the people that you definitely know by first name, and you might share a beer with or chat with. And friends with a capital F are the ones that you will go out of your way to make their day better, right? You might make the day better of somebody that's just a regular friend, but an
inner circle.
It's an inner circle. You reach that point. Glenn Hallstrom, if Glenn was having a bad day, I go out of my way to make his day better. And he's done the same for me. You know, that's just how. And do I think it's a strict definition? No. Can people move from category to category? Certainly. They can swap categories almost on a weekly basis in some cases. But those dynamics have very little to do with social media friendship. I think I don't even know if social media friendship even hits the level of acquaintance, because I don't know if I can be acquainted with 3,200 people.
Right. There's certain things on social media that are only in that form of reality for us.
Right.
You know, until we meet them at cons and spend more time and start to see how they move and develop as it goes.
Right. I mean, I think on the Discord server, which is around 2,200 people, give or take, there's an active bunch of people that have more of an idea of how they. I might not know what their real names are, right? Because it's Discord. But I have more of an idea of what their personality is and a common interest, and able to chat back and forth. And a lot of these people will hang out on a Thursday night, and we'll have a verbal sharing of thoughts and ideas and observations, which I think the verbal aspect is very important to make those connections. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like, working from home has taught me a lot about that, where some people will only take their therapy through audio. They don't want anything to do with video. And it's funny because sometimes, because it isn't a face-to-face thing, people share a lot more than they might. So,
but they wouldn't
that's
be.
anything.
But it's like another thing to look at is when people are using this, right? They use the keyboard. What do we call people that keyboard warriors, right? They got the internet muscles. People that hide behind the keyboard tend to talk a lot more shit than they would if they were verbally communicating.
There's the degrees of separation, right? Like, what was it? That Milgram study, back in the 70s when they they were doing to see like how people treat each other, and sort of like the relational bit. You know, if you, I think they started the study where that they were talking, they could see the person, um, and when was it the easiest to give the shocks? It was easiest to give those shocks, like when you couldn't hear the person, you couldn't see the person. It was just the thought of this random person in the next room or whatever, or on the other side of you, and they'd go to town on the button. But then, like, as it came time, well, okay, I have to actually hold this person's hand
as I zap them.
and hear their voice and the pain that this causes.
It becomes real when the people are real.
And I'm probably like butchering quoting this stuff. That was the intent of it anyway.
The general feel. And that makes a lot of sense, because we don't talk about people having look at that YouTube warrior. Okay. Oh, actually, I shouldn't say it. There are a few out there, but usually you don't see them on screen, right? So you don't know what they look like, because if you know what they look like, you could probably deal with them face to face at some point. I never understood how some people can get so worked up. Well, actually, I shouldn't say it. I understand why some people can get very worked up on social media, because, like Rach said, it becomes less interpersonal, but it becomes very personal, right? Social media.
Well, it's that outlet where you can just unleash, and you don't see the aftermath of what you've done.
Well, right, but not only that, when you're typing, right, you're not getting immediate feedback. If I'm
right, you have to wait.
You have to wait, right? And what can you do, right? What is a common, like it was common, especially on Google Plus. All right, well, screw that. I'm walking that person and I'm circling them. Do I ever have to? You build what I've heard. The expression is a walled garden, and you build the walled garden so you only get the opinions that fit your perceived conception or notions of what you believe is right. So it's an echo chamber. I would call it an echo chamber. I wouldn't call it a walled garden. Some people prefer, I almost said need, but I'll say they prefer a walled garden. I will never say that my opinions, which are, again, my opinions are not facts, they're my opinions, that my opinions are necessarily right. I'm not going to say that my opinions are more accurate than somebody else's opinions. But they're my opinions, and I probably have more faith in them personally than I have in yours, because they're mine. I'm personally attached to them. But I think that the communication is different even now. I mean, we're doing a live stream, and I'm getting live feedback, which is awesome. But even if I wasn't, even if I was recording this, I am verbally expressing this. If I am adding a little snark to it, you're going to probably see the twinkle in my eyes and the smirk in my face, and you can go, oh, okay, Tenkar's being a little bit of a dick, right? But if I'm typing this on a keyboard, somebody might go, holy shit, what a fucking jackass he is saying that. You're not seeing the twinkle in the eye.
Something gets taken away when it's just via keyboard.
Right.
Like text, or like, this is why, we tell our kids not to, get into things that are very personal or very dear or hold a lot of emotion over text.
Yes.
Avoid that, because someone's going to misconstrue.
Right. You lose the inflection.
Yeah.
You lose that. And a smiley face or a winky face or a frowny face doesn't say shit. All right? Doesn't mean shit. And my son, when he, getting a little personal, literally the week before his mother passed, he sent me a text message when I was at work. And apparently my son, at the age of like 13, 14, couldn't generally spell a proper English word, but he certainly couldn't spell text abbreviations right. And I forget what it is he sent to me, but I thought he was telling me to fuck off. And I wanted to put my fist into his phone when I saw him next. And thankfully I calmed down a bit before, and I was like, dude, what the fuck were you trying to say to me? And he explained to me, I go, that's not what you sent. I go, what? I go, dude, spell shit out next time if you're gonna, send me anything in a text message. But
he'll always go to that route to start addressing
but
anything, and it's like, no.
Yeah, but like then again,
conversation.
This was like nearly 15 years ago, and admittedly, he was like, but they're charging aren't they charging by the text characters? I'm like,
oh.
I was like, oh, dude, all right, you know what? Just save me the agita, save me the desire to throttle you. Just spell it out. I'll still need to interpret it, but I'll be off at a better base. But yeah, because like with my son, like I have learned, my son might be 28 now, but if he needs to borrow money, I get a text message, right? Because there's that little bit of I can send it and leave, right? It's like it in a way, text messages, social media, especially when you're talking about text, I mean like typing social media, it's like leaving flaming bags of shit on somebody's porch, knocking on the door, and then running away. All right? It is fucking hilarious when you're a teenager and you're 13 or 14. All right? My favorite, by the way, when I was spending summers in the Poconos, was fishing wire to the Roos's dinner bell, running 25 feet of fishing wire to the woods behind the house, and then ringing a fucking bell and let the fishing line go limp, and have the mother come out and go, who the hell's ringing my bell? And the moment she goes back in, you ring the bell again. Oh, it was priceless. It was also the equivalent of leaving a flaming bag of shit, because I'm getting entertainment out of it, but nobody else is, right? Mm-hmm. I'm when you leave those flaming bags of shit on social media, you are getting entertainment out of it. You're like, ha ha, I got him. I said that, and you know what? I don't have to hear you afterwards.
I'm going to block you now.
Well, and I actually had somebody who did that, sent me an angry PM and told me what a horrible person I was. And then when I was going to respond, and I wasn't going to respond as a total ass, bit of an ass, yes, but I was going to respond as, listen, I think you've misinterpreted something here. I found that I was already blocked. So that literally is leaving a flaming bag of shit, right? Because you gone. Now, I'm going to have some people go, well, you can do that with your videos. You certainly can. And then you can leave it, but I can't, except for our troll last night that was trolling me.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, we had a wonderful troll. It was just putting like random letters into the chat. So then I had to remember how to like actually boot somebody from the chat.
Good.
Took me a few seconds too long to remember how. What can I tell you? I'm not always the swiftest person when it comes to this stuff.
But you told the bugger off anyway.
Well, I got booted. You know what? There's a few things when it comes to social media aside from the common sense of, and Mike and I talked about this yesterday. If you are in this hobby to make money, I don't care if it's your full-time business or if you're just making enough scratch to make a car payment. If it makes a difference in your life, don't talk about politics or social issues or respond to such on social media unless you have a dummy account that will never come back to you anywhere. Because even if you are right, and we will assume that you are always right, you're going to piss off a sizable amount of your possible customer base. There's no reason to do that. For what? For the endorphins that come out because I got somebody with my comment. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And if you don't want to deal with a lot of that drama, my suggestion is I don't really read too much of the general Facebook feed. I will read stuff that are it's in groups. So, oh look, somebody posted in GP Adventures Old School Gaming. All right, I'll check that out. Or they've posted in the North Texas RPG group. New post there. I'll check that out. But again, the main feed is, I don't know. That's where people come along often to spout off opinions that either I don't care about, or maybe they have a topic that I care about enough that I want to make a comment that's probably going to wind up dragging me down the rabbit hole, and either at best it's going to be a waste of my time, but at worst it's going to frustrate me, and then you find yourself not liking people that you liked before because you're like, oh my god, this person's a fucking moron. Maybe they aren't. Maybe you're reading them wrong. Maybe they're posting a very opinionated piece that they would never have done normally. What's the matter, Rach?
Yeah, and maybe they're not morons. Maybe they just have a different idea about things than you do.
Right.
But
that's how you
it's okay. And
listen, when it comes to social media, nobody looks at a differing opinion when the conversation's getting heated and says something like, well, I disagree with their opinion. Their opinion is valid.
Yeah.
But the conclusion is wrong. You don't go, because even if you politely disagree with them, they're going to think you're attacking them. So generally what happens, you wind up unpolitely disagreeing with them, and then it's an attack. I'm going to tell you right now, you're better off just avoiding it. It will simplify your life and give you a lot less stress. Social media is, to a large extent, a necessary evil in today's world. When Rach starts teaching yoga to get herself more exposure in different communities, she's going to have to participate in social media.
Yeah.
And go with God, because it's an evil place out there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm getting the hiccups.
Even with the best of intentions.
even with the best of intentions. Yeah. Because, we all go into it with the best. Nobody goes into social. I don't think anybody goes into social media initially with the idea of, I'm going to be an internet troll. I'm going to.
I don't think people say their opinions to.
Some people do.
Maybe.
Some people. No. Some people go into it because they're just looking to get reactions from people. But some people, whereas in real life, face-to-face matters, conversations would be shades of gray, right? It's somewhere here. When it becomes social media matters, it's absolutes. So if you disagree with me, you're an SJW, or you disagree with me, you're a fascist. There's none of this. You disagree with me because you have your own opinion. That's somewhere in between the two extremes. No, there's only extremes in social media. And that's how, and then God forbid you're somebody who espouses a neutral stance on stuff, then both sides assume that you're on the other side.
Evil, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, if you're in the middle, then you're to the right of the left, and you're to the left of the right. Right? Mm-hmm. So you just get doubly screwed. Not my personal opinion is 75-80% of most people are in this nebulous neutral zone in real life. And it's funny because real life friends who I've had people say, "Hey, I'm conservative." Other people go, "Hey, I'm a liberal," and then we all get together and have this conversation and talk stuff out. And it's like, wow, you identify as conservative and you identify as liberal, but you actually share about 80-85% of your core beliefs line up perfectly. And the other stuff is there's been like a margin of error. Like you kind of like, well, yeah, we could fudge this, we could fudge that. But I don't know, social media, man, just wants people to draw lines and take 12 paces, turn and fire. I don't know why. It brings us back to the days of dueling in a lot of ways. Everything's a personal insult and an affront. Yeah, it's like, whatever happened to, let me buy you a beer. Well, I guess you can't buy a beer on Facebook.
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, I know you can't. I know you can't smoke on YouTube, which is why.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, that's why we watch. Oh, what's his name? The Canadian when he has.
Oh, that Southern guy. That maybe not Southern, but the American
Yeah,
lawyer on here that
he's got.
takes the cigar around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he never lights it because you
Yeah.
can't light it and be monetized.
Mm.
I don't smoke,
I
but
stopped smoking. Would never go back.
it stunted her growth.
It shrunk me.
Oh God, folks,
It
listen.
shrunk me.
I've been 54 now for a week and a day,
I've
and
been 50 for a month and a half.
but let me just say that I actually do feel healthier now than I probably did for my last 10 years, which is really strange to say. But it's eating better. It's watching my diet. It's getting some exercise in, and there's a better place for mental health too.
Yes.
So, and it's funny, like losing the weight and the exercise. Not saying that there aren't days where I'll nap for an hour, hour and a half, but it's usually because I didn't sleep well the night before for one reason or another, maybe an overactive mind. But before I used to I'd have 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep, and then still be looking for the 2-3 hour nap. I don't have that issue anymore.
Nope.
No. Although I still like a good nap.
Yeah.
A good nap is still a wonderful thing. So now, Rach, what do we have coming up this week? You got any yoga? Oh, actually, no. Rach doesn't have any major yoga events because she goes back to work on Monday. Yeah,
my last 2 weeks.
Now, I'm going to say something that, at least when I was working, I would have to say, and I would like to think some of them were saying it in jest, but at least half the people I worked with that were married, male or female, would say things like, "Oh well, I have a successful marriage because I'm married to another cop, and I work day tours and they work evenings, and we only see each other on the weekends." And it's just like, why? I mean, it was rough for Rach and I when I was working midnights.
Oh yeah.
But we knew we knew it was a limited stint. I knew
you'd be coming in as I'd be getting ready to go out.
Right, and then we'd overlap before I had to go back out.
Yeah.
But the idea of Rach retiring and doing yoga, but doing yoga stuff from the house or from local yoga schools as a part-time gig. Where my heart's around here somewhere. Be still my beating heart. That is what I've always wanted. I love being with my wife. If you can't see that on my face, then there's no snark right now. It's just pure joy. This is what I'm looking forward to. So we're gonna have to celebrate when Rach is actually, and then in 2 weeks we'll have a nice Gamers Health. We'll probably talk about how Rach got hung over from her celebration. She might be hungover from her celebration when we do Gamers Health.
No.
We get into it for shit like that.
Yes. I can't have that spinning feeling.
Oh, and room spins.
Well, it doesn't look like it's spinning, but in your stomach it feels like
floofiness.
Yep.
So just as a side note, over the next sometime, hopefully in the next month, hopefully, maybe next month, we got to reach out with Laramie. We'd like to get Laramie.
Yeah.
If you're on a Discord server, you've seen Laramie. He's one of my bartenders, the Tavern Menches. He takes care of a lot of the issues in the tavern during the hours when others aren't around because he works off hours as a nurse. But we want to bring Laramie, and he did a guest position before we started doing these live streams. He recorded a Gamers Health to cover us last October when we lost our kitty. So I'd like to bring him back as a guest, and we could do this, and it would be a lot of fun. And maybe we should all do a drinking.
We'll have to look at what
Oh,
to do and what he wants to share with people.
Laramie brings me cider at conventions, okay? Laramie brings me cider. I might have to tell him not to bring me cider this year. I probably can't have the carbs. Oh, God.
Maybe he'll bring a low carb option.
All right. Good point. Folks, we're almost hitting the hour mark, so we're going to probably wrap this up. Listen, here's actually before we wrap it up. So New York City has announced that they are, I don't want to say COVID passports, right? But they're going to require
proof. Excelsior passes, they call it.
No,
Excelsior pass. So they want to have.
They want you to prove your vaccination before eating in indoor
using gyms.
Oh, wait, what's that? Even some of our outdoor seating is effectively indoor seating, as Louis Rossman has pointed out. He had one outdoor seating with an air conditioner built into the window.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's not outdoor
2 stories.
seating. Yeah, but they're gonna you're right. With the gyms, movie theaters, I'm assuming yoga studios.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess indoor sporting events. I have an issue.
And a lot of studios themselves are saying, even if you're vaccinated, you have to wear a mask inside.
Right. So New York City does not want to come out with a mask mandate, my belief is, because if you come out with a mask mandate, you're not going to have the Manhattan offices reopening after the Labor Day weekend. They're going to stay shut. And that is going to keep the New York City economy, which doesn't just survive on tourism. People think, oh, well, New York City thrives on tourism.
No, it survives on the commutation.
Yeah.
People coming in for work and coming in for events. And
they shop and they purchase stuff at diners and delis and fast food joints and Starbucks. So that money is not coming into the city. Also, all those sales generate a sales tax. Sales tax in New York City is what, 8.75% or something?
I think so.
Some stupid shit like that.
High.
Which about 4% goes to the city. This is all money that they haven't been getting because of COVID. So if you think that New York City or New York State wants to pump this ball longer than they have to, you're out of your mind. Now, actually,
I think that's why they're kind of leaving it to,
businesses but not 100% Now, here's something that's interesting. Rach and I were watching literally right before we started doing this podcast, Infographics. It's a channel on YouTube, and we were watching like the best of 2020. And one of the things they brought up was pandemics. And this was from last April,
that was interesting.
I guess initially. And here's the thing: they were saying that pandemics generally have 2 ends. They have a medical end, and they have a social end. And the medical end is rare, right? The medical end, fully ending of the pandemic. Like we have, the flu comes back every fucking year, right? So the flu,
right? The medical end is rare. Either everybody dies from the
or we just deal with it.
That the illness is eradicated because
but not fully. Like I said,
or the illness is eradicated by the fact that there's a vaccine that
like smallpox,
does it, like smallpox or measles,
rubella. But here's the thing, like the flu comes back every year, right? We have a new vaccine for it every year, and there are some years when the flu is worse than others, and all that stuff. That's probably what COVID-19 is going to be. It's going to be.
We're probably going to be getting a yearly vaccine for it,
right?
Like the flu,
right? It's going to be packaged into your flu shot. It's going to be one for all and all for one. Again, do we mandate flu shots? No. However, if you work in a medical environment, they can require you to wear a mask if you don't take the flu shot.
Yes,
right?
That was always what they did.
Right. And that's
where I worked,
right?
And everything.
So now, but now they're requiring
you'd have to wear a mask if you didn't get your flu shot. That was well before Corona.
New York City is requiring with its health and hospitals that if you work in these situations, and you don't get your COVID shot, guess what? You're shit out of luck.
You can't be in work.
You can't, and it's not suspended with pay. It's you're done. Thank you. Go home. you don't get to keep the ball, and you get no consolation prize. I have an issue with that. And again,
sure, and so the union.
Rach and I, we are immunized. I'm not a big conspiracy person. For me, it was are there risks to a vaccine that isn't fully vetted and tested? Definitely. I'm sure there are risks to it.
Sure.
But my risks, my personal health risks, greatly outweighed the risk of that of getting an untested vaccine. Now, that being said, my sister was vaccinated and she was semi-prone to heart palpitations. It's gotten worse since she got the shot. Could it be linked? Her doctor said it's possible. So again, we don't know. You know, a lot of this stuff is in that category of not enough information to fully parse it. Again, I think the vaccine is a personal issue, and I don't believe in mandating it. And if wearing a mask is supposed to be effective in case that you are a carrier, then if you're not vaccinated, then you choose to wear a mask, and that's a fine option. I think that I don't like wearing a mask, so again, vaccine, fine for me, but maybe not for thee. Good point?
Indeed.
Folks, as always, as we wrap this up, be safe, be well. It's the summertime. Some areas of the country are still suffering those heat waves. Hydrate. God bless each and every one of you. Even if I don't personally like you all that much, I probably should be offering you a blessing more than anybody else. Because if I don't like you, then maybe you need a blessing more than others. So God bless you all. Especially those that are watching the stream now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And take care.
Roll those dice. Roll them well. And I will be back tomorrow, not in the live stream. Although they do these live premieres. I haven't tried that yet. I may try it. May try the new camera again. Apparently, to get my camera to not stutter, I need a higher quality data wire. So we're working on that. But it looks good otherwise. But this is still my built-in camera. And thank you, Gerard. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, everyone.
Peace be with you, too.
And we will be back again next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. You know what? Maybe we'll make it our cooking special. I'll talk about a few recipes. Maybe.
Or maybe we could cook something, like have a later dinner. Not you.
I'm not.
Of them, but like be able to show like.
Well, nobody wants to see my ass fucking cooking.
No, I mean to show the dish.
All right,
maybe we could share screen.
I could show you an empty plate. How about that? Does that work? I ate this meal. It was great. Thumbs up. All right, folks.
Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Laters.
Bye.